All right, people. I guess we are back on in another live stream. Hope I'll be audible. Let me just quickly check. Perfect, perfect, guys. Today is February 18, um, and we are pretty consistent. This is our seventh consecutive day where we are working on our Kaggle, and if you can see, I have a 7 day long streak as well. So let's start our clock. Okay, so we were learning pandas for last couple of days and will continue doing that. Um, I got a good understanding of creating, reading, and writing, and indexing, selecting, assigning all those things about the pandas. Summary and map functions. I also got to know there was a there was a map function, and there was an apply function. What we are doing now is the grouping and sorting, but I have also realized that I need to master the pandas as well, so that I'll be doing today sometime later, and my main source is gonna be something, uh, let's say lead code or something, grouping and sorting. So now let's just start reading grouping and sorting, and hope we will be able to understand it and finish pandas today. Yeah. So maps allows us to transform data into data frame. Maps allows us to grouping and sorting. We were doing it right. Map allows us to transform data in a data frame and series and one value at a time at the entire or series one value at a time or an entire column. However, often we want to group our data and then do something specific to the group data. You will learn. You will learn as you will learn. We do this by group by operation. We also cover some additional topics such as more complex ways to index your data frames along with how to sort your data. To start exercises for the topic for this topic, please click here. um, hmm. In group wise analysis, one functions we have been using heavily thus far is the value count function. We will replicate what value count does by the following. So uh, group by points and then points dot count. Group by creates a group of reviews which allotted the same point value to the given vine. Then for each of these groups, we grab the points column. Yeah, we got to know that we have to also submit a PR for this fix as well. We will be going to do it sometime after the stream. Hmm. Where is my pen? I'm not sure if my stream is capturing this audio or not. Hello, hello, hello. Let me select this thing. Okay. You can think of each group we generated as being as a slice of our data frame containing. Where is my pen, brothers? You can think of each group as we generated as being slice of our data frame containing only data with the values that matches. So okay, you can think of each group we generate as being the slice of our data frame containing only data with values that match. This data frame is accessible to us directly using the apply method. Hmm. We can use we can use any of the summary functions we have used with the data. For example, to get the cheapest wine in each of the value category, we can get the price dot minimum. Hmm. So what we have studied that there were LOC and ILOC, and in the LOC we measure, we count the end as well. We include both the ends. Hmm. But IDX max, what is that? Point, what is IDX max? Hmm. Multi-index have several methods for dealing with their tiered structure, which are absent for single level indices. They also require two level of labels to retrieve a values depending upon the multi-index output is a common gotcha for users who are new to pandas. The use of multi-index are detailed alongside so in the multi-index advanced section. So what is in the multi-index advanced indexing? So there is a user guide 10 minutes to panda intro to data structure essential basic functionalities IO tools spy arrow functionality indexing. So basically these are all what is needed by focus boys focus. Multi-index advanced sections of the pandas. However, in general, the multi-index method you will use most often is one of the following converting back to a regular index, the registered index. Okay, sort. We finally we know that we can sort more than one column at once. Okay, so let's do the exercise, boys. Mm. Who are the most common wines reviewers in the datasets? Create a series in the whose index is the taste Twitter handle category from the dataset and whose values count how many reviews each person wrote. Okay, review written is equals to basically what happened? Uh, reviews. Um, so I have to use group by, right? But I need to know. I need to know WinMag. WineMag statistics. Where is that? WineMag statistics. Description. Region, what description is in points. Region, that is all. So basically, taster, what he and how many reviews each person gives. I think it's points in which we are. Hmm, points dot value. Now I know there could be a spelling mistake here. Hmm. Points is right, and I think is it value count? No. What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? Oh, it's just count. Now there is something group by review dot group by dot points. I'm writing right, and group by. Okay, I have to group by. Is it taster name? No, I think it's the wrong data set. It is the wrong data set. How can I bring? And they are bringing 130K V2. Let me first comment it out, and let me just see reviews. Hmm. Taster Twitter handle. I have this. This has to be this thing for sure. Taster Twitter handle, taster name, title, and it should be via points. Hmm. Who are the most common wine reviews in the data set? Create a series whose index is the. Now I think it's saying to for me to do anything. Oh my god! Oh my god! I got to know what the mistake is. Perfect, boys and girls. Perfect. Size. Did they teach us size here? No, they didn't. Let's move to another. Okay. What is the best wine I can buy for a given amount money? Create a series whose index is wine price and whose value is the maximum number of points a wine costing that much was given in a review. Hmm. It's quite REVI reviews dot group by uh, आई डोंट नो ये राइट सही है यानी ऑब्वियसली रिव्यूज ये मैं गलत कर रहा हूँ बहुत देर से क्या है यार इसका ये REVIEWS no what's wrong some attribute is wrong so count minimum and then it comes sort values by ये चीज मेरे को देना है ओके भाई असेंडिंग की स्पेलिंग क्या है क्या हुआ बाय होता नहीं है क्या ये क्या गलत कर रहा हूँ यूज मैक्स सॉर्ट इंडेक्स ये सब तो किया मैंने but why we need to use sort index what is the best wine I can buy for a given amount of money create a series whose index in wine price whose index is wine price and whose value is the maximum number of points a wine costing that much I didn't understand that it's saying me to sort by index let's check quickly So I can ask them to sort, but I can also ask them to show more than that. Got it. Third, what are the minimum and maximum price for each variety of wine? Create a data frame whose index is the variety category from the data set and whose values are min and max value thereafter. So I got to know reviews dot group by uh, variety passing. Hmm. But min and max are the functions, right? How can I put them? Okay, I can aggregate them. I can aggregate them based on the data warehouse price. Oh, it's correct. Yes. What are the most expensive wines? Variety. Create a variable sorted varieties containing a copy of the data frame from the previous questions where the varieties are sorted in descending order based on the minimum price, then on the maximum price to break ties. So double sorting is they are doing group by description, aggregation, multi-indexing. So they are saying that I can use this thing and whatever comes, I can just sort values by equal to min max. This is wrong. Okay, I have to put that. I don't think so. They have this price. This is a bit tricky. This is a bit tricky. Okay, I was right. I was right. Dot sort values by min max. ये नहीं लिखा AS ascending equals to false. Is it gonna work? Hmm. Create a series whose index is reviewer, whose index in reviewers and whose values in the average reviews scores give out. Should we be aggregating by points? I'm not sure. Um, there must be a concept of reset index. Oh my god, I don't know so many things. I used. Okay, so I have to create a multi-index group by group by country variety variety and then example. I hope count is a value. Sort by is sort sort values. Hmm. Okay, not a good one, but let's just. Data types and missing values and renaming and combining. Let's study them at least. And data types and missing values. In this tutorial, you will be learning how to investigate data types within a data frame or series. You will learn how to find and replace entries to start as access of data types. The data types for a column in data frame or a series is known as data types. I think the best way is to okay, let's start with okay. The data type of a column in a data frame or a series is known as a D type. You can use a D type property to grab the type of the specific column. For instance, we can get the type of the price column in the reviews data frame. Float 64. An alternative, the dtype property returns the dtype of every column in the data frame. Okay, it returns everything. Data types tells us something about how pandas is storing the data. Internally, float 64 means that it uses 64-bit floating points numbers. Int 64 means that similarly sized integers instead, and so on. One peculiarity to keep in mind and on display very clearly here is that the columns consisting entirely of strings do not get their own type. They are instead given the type object. It is possible to convert a column of one type into another wherever such a conversion makes sense by using as type functions. For example, we may transform the points column from existing int64 to a float 64. Right. A data frame or series index has its own type. A data frame or series index has its own type d type too. Missing entries. Entries missing values are that values NaN, short for not a number. For technical reasons, these NaN is values are always of the float 64. Pandas provides same method specific to missing data to select NaN entries and you. Hmm. Missing data. Entries missing values are given the value NaN, short number, not a number. For technical reasons, these NaN values are always the float 64 D type. Pandas provide some method specific to missing data to select NaN entries. That entries you can use PD is null or its companion not null. This is meant to be used thusly. इसका मतलब क्या होता है भाई? Replacing missing values is a common operation. Smartest provides a really handy method of this filling na or filling na provides different strategies for mitigating such data. For example, we simply replace names with an unknown, or we could fill each missing values with the first non-null value that appears sometimes after that given order in the database. This is known as the backfill strategy. Alternatively, we may have a non-null value that would like to replace. For example, suppose that since the dataset was published, reviewers Karen O'Keefe has changed her Twitter handle to this. One way to reflect this in the dataset is you're using the replace method. Okay. Okay, it's not a tough one. Looks like renaming and combining this. Introducing. Oftentimes, data will come to us with the column names, index names, or other naming conventions that we are not satisfied with. In that case, we will learn how to use pandas functions to change the name of the offering offending entries to something better. You will explore how to combine data from multiple data frames and also use renaming. The first functions we'll introduce here is the rename, which lets you change index names and or column names. For example, to change the points column is our data sets to score. Okay, so what is the data type for the points? It's why they made it so complicated here. How many data sets? They're expecting me to count it, right? How can I count it? How can I count it? How can I count it? ये तो बताया नहीं था भाई. Hmm. Okay, just to clarify, I'm viewing all these solutions so that I can get an idea, and I have a plan B where I'll be just practicing all the pandas things, and that I will be starting parallelly today, because I have realized because in the Kaggle everything is starts with the data sets, so you have to be very natural when it comes to working with data set. Anyhow, this is so good. This is so good. Will I be able to finish this in 5 से ज़्यादा ना हो? Oh wow, 3 ही है. I will run this region 1 and region pretty uninformative names for local columns. The editor says create a copy of the reviews with these columns renamed to region and local. How they were renaming it. How they were columns equals to, okay, I can use the index. I'm not sure this is gonna be right. Renamed. You have expected to be renamed to have local LLC. Oh wow. By index name of wines. Wines. They want me to index. Set the index name to wines. Index name. I guess they want me to rename this index name. Index is equals to wines. Join करना है. I know. pd.concat. There is a typo. This does not matter to me. इस सर्टिफिकेट में क्या करूँगा इस सर्टिफिकेट को?
All right, dosto. I think it's time to wrap up for today's schedule. We worked on finishing the pandas course, but we have to practice a lot.